Hey, what's going on, guys? So, I am going to read out a question to you, and this is a tough one. It really is. I mean, they're all tough. They're tough in different ways. But this one, I was just like, oh, God. Fucking hell, you just imagine that. And this is the thing, this isn't like the first story I've read that's like this. I get it fairly frequently, and it's just tough. I haven't been in these shoes myself. But she says, "Hi, I saw some really inspiring stories on your page and I wanted some advice. I just found out that my soon-to-be ex-husband had sexually abused one of his 15-year-old students. And after I filed for mutual divorce, this said girl, who is over 18 now, told me about the abuse. How do I go about it and get this sick guy behind bars?" That's tough. First of all, I really hope that you're okay and you're not beating yourself up in any way, because you don't need to go down that road. Just nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud. Alright? How do you go about it? I think the obvious answer is seeing if this girl is ready to go to the police. That's the first thing. Is she ready to go to the police? Alright. Alongside that, are you ready to go to the police with her and give your ex-husband in, essentially? And that might seem like an obvious answer, but I just wanted to ask that, and I just wanted you to just think about that reaction. Not that maybe you shouldn't do it, but more so just managing your own expectations of what you might be in store for. So it's just so you are setting yourself up so you can try to manage the situation as best you can, because you've given it some long thought prior on how you might react. And who knows how you're going to react. We haven't been down that road before, but it's still good to think about. So the main thing is making sure you're good. All right. Make sure you're not going down any silly roads, like blaming yourself for anything, for red flags that you should have seen. That tends to happen a lot whenever people message me about things like that. And it's like, look, it's natural. Of course it's natural. Of course you're going to look back, I was married to the guy and he was doing that, But it's like, that is just a pointless road to be on, because there is no good that will come from that other than thinking that you are blind and delusional and a sucker, and none of that is true. Okay, so just see yourself in a good light. See yourself as a friend, as a fellow warrior, as a leader to now this 18-year-old. Okay, so check that she is ready to go to town, and go to the police. And we don't know what's going to happen from then on. Going to the police is within your control, and you can only do what's within your control. Once you're in the police station and how they respond to it, whatever questions that they ask, then it comes to the thing about proof, and whatever process that they have that's outside your control, all you can do is cooperate and just do the best that you can. So at the end of the day, that is the short answer to your question, is to see if this 18-year-old is ready to go to the police. If she is, cool. All right, see what she's looking for out of this whole thing. If it's justice, all right, great, because that might, if she, for example, if she wants to go to the police to get back at him, then that might not carry through when shit hits the fan and it gets tough, the court case. But if she's doing it for justice, that's a higher purpose, So that's kind of like what we want. If she's like, I can't go to the police, I can't do that, because there's a big thing as well. Then it's just about being with her and understanding why and trying to figure out what her fears are and just supporting her through that process. I don't know, I only know as much detail about your story as to what you've given me, which is fairly short, so I don't know what type of man your ex-husband is. If there should be some fear there that both of you need to manage and let the police know about, to set precautions to, protect yourselves. But yeah, the short answer is to, if she says no, understand why, try and get to the bottom of it, try and support her. Maybe you could, if we paint a scenario where she's not ready to go and she doesn't want to go, then you need to figure out whether you want to go yourself. Because sometimes it takes someone, to see someone else doing something like that, going to the police and doing it, leading the way for them then to follow. Okay, sometimes that needs to happen. So we've now covered that as an option. So let's just say she says yes, she's ready, ready to put the sick guy behind bars. Then it's about you both going down there and then going to the police station and then just revealing the truth. And I think what will help is, whilst this 18-year-old can talk about the accounts of what happened when she was 15, and here's the thing, sometimes, well, often it happens more than just once. So whether it's the actual physical event that happened, the actual sexual assault, or build up, because usually when it comes to sexual assault, there's a build up to it. Okay, if it's in an environment where there's people of trust and power, as in there's constant contact, they're seeing each other. You said it's a pupil, right? So it's a teacher, so they would have seen each other. So I'm guessing he would have made advances to test, because abusers, they're very good at knowing who their victim is going to be. They're very good. They're very, very good at knowing who to target and who not to target, and they always target the vulnerable because that is who they believe they can get away with. So, but they test the waters to see first. So it's about this 18-year-old to try and look back to see what things could have been those moments of testing, to build that story up for the police, and then coupled with you being the ex-wife and looking over that marriage to see if you can ever remember any red flags. And what I'm interested to know about, and this isn't an answer we'll just know about right now, but if he abused a 15-year-old as a pupil, who else did he abuse? I'm not saying he did, but there's a chance that he did. And sometimes it's a high chance, because as we know that abusers tend to, not always, but tend to abuse more than just one person. So who else? Maybe there's other pupils. Maybe there's other people. So maybe you're asking this 18-year-old, hey, just throwing a question out in the dark here, but was there any other people, friends of yours or other students you ever saw alone with him, getting there after class, before class, you walking into the class and it's them two? You didn't think anything of it, but now like looking back type of thing. Maybe ask around. I don't know, but just testing the waters and just see, because all of that stuff will build the case. And as difficult as it is to look at it like this, because more cases get thrown out than ones that actually get to the end before a verdict, and then even slimmer, a verdict that we want. For cases that get to that point, more than not don't get to actually get into court. Okay, it gets dropped, or police don't even pick it up because there's just no proof, or there's too many holes in the story, and that's nothing to do with the survivor, to do with the victim. It shouldn't be like that. But if we got to just for a moment understand the world that we live in, and it's like, okay, well, if this is the game that we're playing, how can we best play the game? And it's like, okay, well, you need to make sure that as many holes in that bucket is filled. Just try to do as best that you can, so that when you go there, you have a story. Now, I understand that attached to that, you might be like, well, Perry, you saying that kind of gives me a lot of pressure now, because now I need to make sure that all the stories are, what if I don't remember things? It's like, listen. If you don't remember things and there are holes in the bucket, still go. That's cool. I'm just challenging you to try to first consciously get the pieces of the puzzle together first, and then go, rather than going and then realizing, oh shit, there's a lot of missing pieces here, let me try and figure out some stuff. Try and see if you can do that first and then go. Okay, but I think that will happen when you have a couple conversations with this 18-year-old and ask some questions and get your heads together to be like, right, has there been other victims? What did he do to you? And are you thinking about your marriage with him? And just seeing if there are any further dots that connect. And then you go to the police, because who knows who else you could be helping and who else you could be saving. Okay, so that's my advice. I don't have, I don't work in the field. I'm not anything to do with law or anything like that. But I just wanted to answer that question and just let you know that you're going to be doing the right thing. It's very courageous. It's very, very courageous. One of our charities that I'm on the board of, We Together, we're currently building out a tool, it's a database. And what it does is it allows survivors and victims to anonymously report what happened to them. Because here's the thing, many times when someone's been abused, someone's been assaulted, they do want to go to the police, but the thought of going to the police just scares the shit out of them. And there's so many reasons why. Okay, because we know that things get dropped. You know, we know that sometimes we're not believed. You know, and I think what it is there's not the greatest deal of trust when it comes to the police. It's improving over the years, though, and they're getting there. You know, there's a lot of good police officers. One of my best friends is a police officer. I'm not shitting on them by any means. I'm just stating facts that we know that the actual infrastructure within the police system is not the best, needs improving, like many things, you know. But because of all of this, there is a lack of trust. There are some cracks, and that does... What it doesn't do is it doesn't give survivors as much comfort and safety that they need sometimes, and so they don't go to the police, you know. So what we're doing is we're building this database where they can anonymously report what happened to them. What happens, it goes into like a it gets stored in this vault that's protected, and AI constantly looks for similarities in the stories that have been submitted, and as soon as it finds a cluster, which is 2 or more, it then gets sent to really simplify this, it gets sent to a team, and then the team views this, and then it gets passed over to the relevant police department, wherever the geographical area is or geographical areas are. And then it starts an investigation, because no longer is it one voice, one story, is multiple. So like your story there, you know, if we had a database live, well, it depends where you're located. I don't actually know, because at the moment we only launched it in the UK. Once we have stable foundations here, who knows where we will go next? But I think there's something similar in America. I'm not 100% sure. I'm about 60% sure, but I know somebody told me about it once, and it wasn't exactly the same, but there was a lot of similarities. So if you're in the States, it might be worth checking that, whilst also going to the police. But anyway, yeah, I hope that helps. Just know that you're doing the right thing. Just know that you both are amazing. You're warriors, you're leaders. You know what you're doing now. You're doing it for yourselves. You're doing it for your truth. You're doing it for your story. But also, you're doing it for all the other victims out there that are currently going through shit, that are too afraid to speak out. And you're doing this for all the survivors out there where shit happened ages ago, but they're still stuck living in silence. They're still stuck drowning in that trauma and that shame, too scared to confront it. And you're going to be inspiring them. So, I'm very, very sorry for what happened. But with the path moving forward, it's going to be okay. Alright? I hope that helps.